So, welcome to the second episode of Social with Anand. Today, I've got with me Apoorva Singh, whose journey has been very interesting. She has been working at an intersection of growth, AI, and customer interaction since last 10 years. And what I love about her approach is she is actually building products and growth system which brings actual results and impact in people's lives. She has worked with certain big brands like Rapido, Paytm, and American Express, but she has always been focused on customer centric experiences, building AI automations and growth strategies. But here's what is even cooler. Apart from all her industry works, she has also been collaborating with educational institutes, helping new age marketers learn the in and outs of the industry, which no other B schools teach nowadays. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to dive into conversations with her today. Hey Apurva, how are you?
Hi Anand, I'm good. How are you?
All good. Thank you for taking this time for this podcast out of your busy schedule.
Pleasure is all mine.
Yeah. Uh, we've been trying to go about this podcast a little bit back and forth, but I'm
Yeah,
glad that we could finally arrange time, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
definitely. I'm excited as well for this.
Yeah. So first of all, I wanted to know, like you've been an started as a network engineer and then into fashion and the big tech companies now. So can you just first tell our audience how this journey even happened?
Yes, my journey has been a kind of interesting in a way that I've been an engineer, then I've been a fashion student, and then I've been a marketeer. All in all, to say, I started off as an engineer, and like most engineers, after completing my 4 years into my electronics and communication engineering, I somewhere had an idea that this is not something that I would really want to go ahead with. So that's when I moved to I thought of exploring a different industry, and that's when NIFT happened for me. And yes, from there rest is history. From there I moved into marketing. And I have been very fortunate that I've had a chance to explore into a lot of things that were coming or emerging new at that point in time. So whether it's digital, omni channel, all the new age sort of marketing experiences, very data driven, strategy driven sort of space. So that kept the hook for me, and that just helped me grow up in the ladder.
Oh, so it's completely like starting off at a point A and reaching to point B. I think the journey definitely would have been really a good learning experience for you. But what did you enjoy most? Like now that you have seen both side of like marketing and also you uh, studied about fashion, right? Like if you had to pick one, what would it be?
If I have to pick one, the beauty about the kind of experiences that I've had in today's projects that I'm right now leading, I'm using everything together. So whether as a product marketer, a lot of your interactions happen with data scientists, with analysts who are actually, or the technical people who are actually helping you build products. So
Hmm.
when you have that sort of a background, it helps. From fashion industry, of course, I was a management graduate there. So what I learned, the best part was, every industry, of course the industry differs, but the people that you're catering to remains the same, right?
Yeah.
And that's been my learning when I started off my journey also, that as a marketer, I don't need to stick to one particular industry, and fashion industry is of course very close to my heart, so it's a place that I can always go back to. And yeah, I mean, that's how I take it up from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, like since you are using the knowledge which you gained in fashion and also applying it in the marketing as well. So I wanted to know, like now you worked at different organizations which are completely different. Like you worked at Paytm, you have worked at Rapido, you have worked at Express. Right now, you are working basically. So, which are completely different businesses. So, right now, is there anything which is working, which has worked everywhere?
Yes, of course. When you say how it all functions when you're working coming from very different industries, but the core remains the same, which is to deliver the best for your end users or your customers. So the customer is the same. So imagine yourself to be the customer, and at the same point in time, I'm sure you're using a credit card. You are also using any of the ride hailing apps to book your next ride. At the same time, you're also utilizing one of the UPI payment methods to get your
Yeah,
everyday needs completed. So this is more like a combination of understanding your user and then delivering it that way. So I think personalization is something which is spoken a lot, but how do you actually start utilizing it in a way that it just ensures that every customer is getting what they really deserve, is the key to it.
correct. Makes sense. Lot of sense. So
Yeah.
just going a bit out of this topic, like as you are, I mentioned that you are working at Paytm. So I noticed that you are at Paytm during their biggest crisis, which was the RBI crackdown in early 2024. So what did that moment teach you while you were there?
Yeah, the RY crash was one of the very big learnings for me as part of Paytm, my Paytm journey. And the biggest thing it taught us was, anything can happen at any point in time. So how do you deal with any situation which comes up very sudden to your to your everyday, and just disturbs your everyday, the kind of projects you are working, or the kind of intent you have to deliver to your users. Your whole objective suddenly changes, and then in that particular situation, how do you actually go about ensuring that even in that turbulence, the least is getting disturbed for your end users. And then you suddenly start working on a very different sort of everyday needs for your users. So it really taught me how to be very dynamic, how to be very spontaneous, how to be very well read of what your competition is doing at that point in time, etc., and then making sure you're doing it at the same moment. You don't have a lot of time to plan, test, and then execute things in these kind of situations that you are part of.
Correct. Correct. And like, how was the energy in the room at that point in time?
Yes,
Probably from
I
our
think yes, yes, I think that's another point. So one is, of course, how do you are reaching out to your end users, and how do you are ensuring there's least chaos when the market is all chaotic out there. And as an organization, on an internal level, when you have a team to manage, that's another sort of learning that you have on, how do you ensure that everyone is at calm, everyone is understanding what is happening right now, and how do you ensure that the team is motivated to work without the fear of losing a job, or just accepting the faith as is at that point in time, right? So you have to just be motivated and keep your team and every colleague around yourself motivated. And that's also been a very good learning for me when this sort of a crisis happened, definitely.
That's pretty tough to keep.
Yeah, yeah.
It's tough to keep oneself motivated, and it's other thing to keep everyone around us motivated. So yeah,
Yes.
definitely that would have been a great learning point. So coming out of it, like, let's talk about a bit about AI. Like now, everyone is talking about AI, and Chat GPT is everywhere. Now even our parents have started using Chat GPT.
Yeah.
So what's the one AI use case that most founders haven't thought about yet? Or before that also, what is the most common thing like you use AI
Hmm.
for on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, I think elephant in the room is definitely AI, and it's been pretty much more than a year now that everyone has been talking about, and it is definitely there to stay. Now it is up to on us how well we start utilizing it. And I always say, of course, AI cannot replace humans. That is what I personally feel. There has to be a good balance that you need to maintain. You have to learn the art to use AI the right way, and then of course your human intent is very important at the same time, and the combination of two can definitely create magic, right? And like you said, our parents have been using chat gpt, and I think chat gpt was, yes, I mean, of course, for all of us, one of the first experiences that we had with AI. I still use, I mean, a chat gpt is something that I definitely is very handy, very user friendly when it comes to, you know, using it on any kind of everyday. It has just replaced your Google search bar, if I have to, you know, keep it short, right? Like instead
Uh,
of now googling, you're just doing chat gpt to get your everyday answers. But that's about it for me when it comes to chat gpt, because when it comes to business needs, the kind of especially into marketing, if you're trying to utilize this, which I keep telling my team also, it's very important to understand that if you're using chat gpts as is to, you know, maybe build your copies or build your creatives, it uses a certain trend, and since a lot in the market has already been also utilizing the same medium, the
hmm.
kind of results are not the best results. So it's
Similar.
yeah, so even if you want to use it, you have to keep working on the sort of prompts you are providing. We do, I mean, I conduct a lot of sessions with my team on how do you use other tools other than chat gpt also to get the same sort of results, just to ensure you are differentiated in the market. What kind of prompts work, how do you build a profile before you actually start giving those prompts on chat gpt, etc., right? I think that is where the differentiator lies. And yes, I mean, that's how we usually use it on our everyday sort of basis.
Okay.
Outside of, you know, working, of course, we are also now started using ai for, you know, getting some sort of analytics results, etc., but still I feel there's a lot of human intervention required there, because the tool is yet to pick to a point that it gives you exactly what you're looking out for. So it definitely cuts down your time. uh, but I mean the journey is long, I really feel. I mean, there's a lot that can, you know, we can do about it in future.
Definitely, the
Yeah.
journey is quite long, and everybody's getting on it now.
Yeah.
Would you like to spill some secret sauce for the founders who haven't thought about it yet in a way how they can use tools to enhance their day-to-day business? Like, is there a hack or tip which you can share?
A tip for the founders, definitely, we are all, I mean, the fortunate part is nobody right now really knows how to use ai in the best of the potential, right?
Yeah.
So where when we say that, your strongest or your basic strength could be to try as many different tools as possible,
Hmm.
try and test as many different scenarios as possible. Because like I said, nobody in the market is utilizing it to the full of potential, is what I really believe in. We are
Hmm.
all learning. So the ones who would learn it quicker or would absorb faster are the ones who are there to stay. So I mean, I personally do that a lot. We use a lot of different tools outside, of course, I'm not talking about chat gpt here, but tools wherein we are using it for analytics, using it for other mediums like voiceovers, etc., into marketing campaigns. And we keep trying to improvise and keep trying to see which tool is making sense for the kind of product I want to sell. So there's no one right answer to it. It's more about explore as much as you can that's there in the market, and keep, making the iterations and moving ahead in your journeys there.
Correct, correct. But still, if you had to name one tool,
One tool. Okay, so like I said, there's no one tool that works for everything, right? So, like Perplexity is one of the tools which I find very useful when it comes to making reports, or your presentations, because the kind of prompts, when you provide certain prompts, it helps you grasp the right sort of, calculations or the data parts to any data that we have. So that's one of the results that I have found personally useful after utilizing a lot of different tools. Second is also, so like if we are using 11th Lab for is one of the
Voice.
best tool for the voiceovers, and this has also come after my own learning of using another 4 to 5 sets. I'm sure there are a lot more in the market, but like I said, these are certain tools that I have finalized on using, for the kind of work that helps me in my particular sort of an organization. It also differs, right? If you're in a banking sector, your results might be, your the needs might be different, versus if you are in a fashion industry, your needs would be very different. So you'll
Correct.
have to each his own. Yeah.
Definitely makes sense. And also, um, a lot of people say like in basically service businesses like B2C businesses, when personalization is very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
So a lot of people use AI for personalization, which I think you've also mentioned that personalization gave you around 2x, 2.3x returns
Yeah.
while you were trying it. So I wanted to know like at what point does personalization becomes too much personalization? What's the
Yeah.
fine line?
Yeah, I think personalization can definitely become a little too overwhelming for your end users on, how. And already we are in a world where we feel our data is not safe, or our information is all out there in the market. So that's a pretty much a notion we all, as consumers, we all have. And for me, how I define personalization, it is not about knowing your age group, or your name, or what is your bank balance like. It is, it on a wholesome level, it is basically, as a marketer, you just need to understand what it could be that I am looking out for. And if I'm already aware of that, I am able to provide you exactly that without any making it very clear. Out of the 100 things that I might have there to sell to you, but I know exactly what you would want me to sell to you, and I cater to you without the clutter in the market. So for me, that is what personalization is, and that's the kind of personalization that an end user also appreciates. So if you understand customer behavior, or you are able to predict what your user might need at that point in time, is what personalization is to me. And it is never about having your personal information being shared, or a lot of people still mistake personalization to, hey, writing your name, or saying, hey, I know your age. So more than age, it is not your, you should understand what is that person looking out for.
Correct.
Using the right way. So yes, I mean, that's what for me is personalization.
That definitely makes sense. I'm also sure that while you were working on personalization or throughout the entire journey, you might have run a lot of like A/B testing. Like A/B testing is a common term which we use in marketing to test out different copies, creatives, etc.
Yeah.
So you've run like hundreds of A/B tests. Like, was there any weirdest result which you have seen, like you never thought this could win and it worked out?
Yes, I think there are a lot of such A/B tests. If I have to answer that, which actually work out, and you expect them not to work out, and vice versa also. It really depends on the kind of situation you are in. So I think one of the very interesting A/B tests I did in one of my last organizations was, we were trying to test a lot of voice communications across the different age groups, and talking about very different kind of products as per the sort of age group we are catering to. And interestingly, we found people above 50 plus giving us a very interesting results in terms of the kind of open rate CTRs we had, versus the Gen Z that we call, or the newer generation that we have. We definitely did not expect them to use voice messages, or maybe to an extent that we saw the results for. So that's one of the very interesting case studies we had recently in my previous project that I was working on.
Correct. And also on the tangent of like as we were talking about AI, you said that AI won't take away human jobs. But don't you think, well, as you were talking, you are using AI for voice generation, like through 11 labs,
Yeah.
wouldn't that take away some of the jobs which are more customer centric, as in the back end jobs, um, calling out to people? I think that might be automated through AI very soon. Once they get a good hold of the Indian accent, maybe those voice jobs might be at risk.
Yes, jobs could be at risk, but I'll give you a very simple example here. Chatbot is something which is there in the market from quite some time, right? And whenever there is an issue, or usually when there is a query that we are willing to solve, or as personally as a customer, I always look out for having that conversation with a real customer agent rather than a chatbot, because chatbot has a very fixed sort of, things that they can talk about, or you can reach out to them. Of course, for very basic information, that can be, of course, be replaced, and that I anyway feel you don't require any which way a human telling you. Your visuals or your TNCs or the any sort of platform that you're utilizing can also talk about those, frequently asked questions that you have. But when it comes to reaching the exact pain point of a user, I still feel AI has a long way to go. Because as a human, you look out for reaching out to another human to, and usually you are reaching out in these particular cases for a concern or a query that you have, or something which is not but something unpleasant that has happened in your previous experience. So you as a customer look out for a human to have that interaction with. So even though a lot of the new age companies to cut down on cost would go ahead with AI, but I still feel the ones who would stay long in the run would be the ones who will ensure that human touch is not getting missed out on, and there's a good balance maintained
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
it makes sense. Yeah, maybe it differs from, yeah, the company size also matters. If the
Yeah.
smaller companies might want to try to cut costs, but also I feel in terms of the employee side, people, rather having a knowledge of AI tools would have a much better chance in the future
Yeah.
compared to people who are not aware of it.
Yeah. So I think that goes without saying. Like we said, our parents have also started using it, and that's what makes you understand that AI is here to stay, and we all have to learn it at all age groups. And I'm sure in today's education also it has been included in most of the different kind of segments that we have. So that's something we all will have very good understanding. I'm expecting it after 10 years from now. Yeah.
Definitely. So, going to a different topic now. Like, I was while I was going through, I read that American Express had changed their reward rules in 2025, like around July. So they decided no more points on fuel. So you've managed the like membership rewards program. So how do you decide what customer benefits to cut without losing loyalty?
Very interesting. I think any kind of product interventions that we do, like the one which you mentioned about Amex also, it's very driven by two to three very important factors. One is what your competition is doing in the market. So having a very regular understanding of what competition is doing in the market right now is what helps you come up with those results. Second is, as a marketer, you're not only there to sell products, but you're there to have the right kind of ROIs, or build uh, productive products, or work on products wherein you can get good revenue coming out or are profitable in nature, right? So you try to understand your PNL really well, and while you are studying or you are absorbing your PNL, you will find certain leakages or gaps, that wherein you feel certain values that you are providing might not be required. Or of course, as an end consumer, you we all will be very unhappy to have anything wherein a company tries to cut down. But of course they have to also find how do you maintain that balance for a customer is by providing them additional benefits which they might be looking out for from some other segments. So you have to maintain that, wherein if you're taking away something, you give them back. and at the same time you also manage the costing part. So if something is coming out very heavy on cost to me, I remove that and I give them deliver something which is relatively costing me a little lesser. And
Hmm.
so that's how you usually run any business for. And the second part, like I said, is your competition benchmarking that you do.
Correct. So, like, I'm sure, like, for Amex or any other firm which you worked before, they might have a lot of budget for the research part, where the growth part is before applying any of those decisions. But if there are smaller startups who doesn't have that much budget or the resource to analyze what's working, what is not working, how would you suggest them to go about it? Because, as you said, personalization, like, all of them do personalization, but personalization is not just the name or the age or something. So if they have not tested a lot of things and they're applying certain decisions, the data is very small. So, and they don't have the resources to hire a entire growth team. So what
Hmm.
would you suggest for those kind of startups, primarily D2C?
Okay, for small startups who are into D2C, the answer lies is AI. I mean, that is exactly where you have to start using the different AI tools for your research work, uh, in the best of the possibilities. Even bigger organizations, I would say, have started using it, because no matter how many resources you have, you just need one intelligent resource who knows how exactly, how exactly to use, what kind of prompts you require, what exactly you are looking out for. So any kind of research you want to do, whether it is competition benchmarking, understanding what global markets are doing, it's very important that, and definitely there is a capability within that one particular person can manage it all, using the right kind of tools, learning how to use those tools. So that gives you the answer for that. Yeah.
Definitely. And also, partnerships are also very important, and you managed a lot of partnership. So let me give you one scenario. Let's say I am doing 10 lakhs rupees a month right now. How do I even approach a bigger brand for partnership without looking like I am a small player?
Yeah, so for partnerships wherein you are very new to the market and you are trying to reach out to the right kind of partnerships to happen and the collaborations to happen, speak to them in experiments and not deck. Simple answer. So try to help them understand what is the value that they can draw from you, because in unfortunately in the world of business it's only money that talks. So if you are able to deliver that part very clearly
Hmm.
without a lot of clutter through presentations, very fancy jargons, keep it short, keep it simple, a simple excel that could also be very impactful, wherein you are able to show them exact numbers or results that you can derive from. So, and that's exactly what everyone is looking out for.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've seen um, long presentations don't work nowadays. I think
Yeah.
people should work on the value proposition in terms of
Yes.
tangible results.
Yes.
Uh, do you like, in your work experience at this big startups, do you think that, like, have made PPTs there, or is it more like short PPTs? How was that experience?
Yes, PPTs definitely come very handy when you are trying to present it to your clients. But like you already mentioned, it is the value that you are trying to draw out of them. So for a lot of new, especially for very new age companies, the way you present doesn't make a lot of difference compared to the your usual corporate consultancy world that we are all aware of. What they look out for is, like I said, the exact value out that you can give to them. And I mean, I'll give you a very simple example here. Like, as customers, our attention span has really dropped, right? We really want to make it fast. We really scroll our reels at a very different sort of speed that was not the case maybe 10 years back from now.
Yeah.
Uh, Same way as employees in an corporate, our attention span is really short now. So, and at the same time, you also have to understand the same partner is speaking to a lot of different companies at the same time to have the right sort of collaboration. To You have to be very crisp, to the point, no matter which medium you use to present it. It could be verbal, it could be Excel, it could be handwritten, it could be a fancy PPT, but your result has to come out very strongly, or what the data or the value part or the business monetization part is something that should come out very clearly.
Yeah. And I feel that here, communications skills, like raising the verbal communication skills, takes a big role. I think this soft skill is something which gets neglected, and even in the time of AI, all the emails, messages are being written by AI.
Yeah.
So people spend a less time developing that soft skill, because eventually you are the one who is giving that
Yeah.
PPT, and if you are not confident, that whole things come flat.
Yeah, definitely. Like we just said, like verbal skills, verbally also you can ensure that how you convince a person with the right sort of very crisp sort of answers. So yes, definitely we all have to keep improvising on our verbal skills also.
And if someone, like you worked on this big organization, if a new age marketer who wants to get into such startups, what skills would you recommend them to like develop so they can crack interviews for such startups?
Uh, of course, irrespective of which era you belong to, for any interview, your verbal skills, your confidence, your overall presentation comes definitely is something which we all neglect, but comes very handy, because for a lot of roles, especially if you are planning to join a customer facing role or a client facing role, comes as one of the very important parameters which we all tend to miss. Outside of that, one thing that works for all is keep learning and exploring everything that's happening in the market. uh, Almost all industries in today's times are very dynamic in nature. Things are moving really fast. Tech is improving, tech is changing really fast. Customers are changing really fast, customer behavior is also changing very fast. The tools that we utilize to, whether it's executing campaigns, or the platform that we utilize for any kind of product marketing interventions, or how do we analyze results post that. So every kind of tool that we are using is also, going through a phase of, improvisations in the market today. So you have to be at the top of everything, at least, even if you are a fresher. Keep reading about it. You have such amazing tools available today in the market. You just need a laptop, and you can keep yourself well aware of things that are happening around. So that's one key thing that's very important for all of us to know, as and when we want to sit for any kind of job interviews in today's time and age.
Correct, correct. And that being said, like marketing in 2016, like 10 years before, and marketing in 2026, what has changed in terms of, earlier people used to spend, I think, a lot on performance initially.
Hmm.
Uh, and now, what do you think has changed? How the marketing budgets are being allocated for different channels now?
I think a very important question for marketers to know. Back in 2016, we were going under a phase of moving into a digital world, where starting to explore online platforms, apps were still emerging as markets. So that was a time where we were spending a lot of money on, like you mentioned, on performance marketing. In today's time, that is something which is a standard now. So we all spend most of our times on our laptops, or on our hand devices, our mobile phones. So for in today's time, it is a step ahead to that, and that is definitely where you have to spend a lot of money to understand your consumers. So from just targeting your consumers, it has now being shifted to understanding your users a little more better or in depth. So you don't bombard them with a lot of information, but bombard them with the right information.
Right.
because that's the only key differentiator. Other things almost everyone is doing now. So whether it's SEO, SEM, Google ads, everyone is doing it, that in the market. So what will differentiate you is how well do you know and what exactly you speak to your user about.
And what is the role of content in this entire equation? Do you think creating content or developing IPs is something which companies should focus on?
Anand, I think this is also a very something which comes with its own dependency on which industry you are part of.
Hmm.
Content, I think Zomato and Swiggy at one point in time taught us all that how powerful even a push notification would be, the kind of language they were using, the kind of how prompt they were with anything that happens outside in the world, and immediately after a minute you'll have that notification used,
Yeah,
whether whether or not I mean you are watching news, you will know it through the kind of notification they will put out. So that's something which I feel will also keep evolving. Now I think almost everyone is doing the same.
yeah,
So that's something which even any of us can't predict in terms of what kind of content will work. But definitely the kind of A/B tests I have run in my past, what really works is avoid the clutter and speak to the point. That is something that always works. So other things are more of a fad, that the kind of language you want to use, or the kind of age group you are trying, maybe that also differs with the kind of age bracket you are targeting, the kind of product you are targeting. One
hmm,
thing that stays is what is your key point that you're telling the consumer about. That should not get lost, so that should come out as clear. And if the content team is able to cater to that, that's like a win for all of us. Yeah.
definitely. The key message shouldn't change. The
Yeah.
Your message should remain the same. And I like see, like as you were talking about this, you've tested a lot of voice messages in campaigns as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, should founders actually be using their own voice instead of emails now? Because sometimes now people are also talking about sending voice notes in outreach and everything. So, is this something which is becoming popular now?
Yes, Anand, I think voice communication is something which has not been has not been fully utilized up till now, is what we feel, and there's a lot of potential that lies in there.
Hmm.
And like you mentioned, using founders' voice could be one of the ways wherein you add that trust, or the sort of trying to connect well to your end users.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm sure, but as and when everyone will start doing that, that will also just
Yeah,
lose its, the whole idea behind it. At the same time, what we have seen, the kind of example I gave, it's very important to understand. So when we had run this A/B test in my previous stint. For across different age groups, you need to know certain age groups, like someone above 50 years of age, if they are if this voice message is about how do you do your KYC or something, that they are really struggling with to use a screen and then to put down their steps, that will work best for them. But maybe if I'll try to sell a product, it may not work for them, because
correct.
then it will become like an ad for them. So you need to understand wherein which kind of product or service you require a voice for, wherein you would require a visually appealing creative for. So depending on the kind of user plus the kind of product or service you are trying to offer, there will always be a mix of all the different mediums that we have.
Definitely. Yeah. And also, I mentioned in my intro earlier is that you've out of your day-to-day activity, you've also taken out time uh, to be a part of edtech spaces like Growth School and everything, where you are teaching the real age skills and real scenarios to the new age marketeers. And also that has been the reason of me knowing you, because I was once part of one of those cohort. So, why did you thought of like starting to go in this angle? Like, what made you think of let me help other digital new age marketers to know what I know?
And then for me, being associated with any kind of training programs, or, just giving it out in the public of what I have learned in my last decade of work is not limited to it's not one side of one way education for me. Honestly, I mean, I don't take it as something that I am only delivering to a larger audience, and it's for me it's a two-way kind of learning, and that is what keeps me hooked. One, of course, it feels really satisfying to be able to help people around who are just entering the industry, or who are, who are trying to explore certain things which I've already experienced from my previous experiences, whether good or bad. So I really I really feel that's very satisfying to be able to help others in the society. And at the same time, while you interact with so many different people at the same point in time, to me, I gain a lot of learnings myself. So you understand what is happening for in between, say, students who are 10 to 15 years younger to me. What is their thought process? What is it that what kind of pain points they have? How as It also helps me internally while I have a team of employees who are working with me, to understand their psychology better. So I mean, for me, it's a two-way learning that happens together. So I really enjoy that process all through, while I keep my 9 to 6 aside. Yeah.
That's great. I am sure as important as it is for you in terms of two-way learning, the value which those students get is immense, because it's something which is not being taught in the MBA school.
Yeah.
So that is very valuable. And I have one more last question before I let you go. Is that what actually separates people who scale from the ones who are just stuck at doing the same thing? Like, this is a bit intense
Yeah.
question, but what are your thoughts on it?
So I think how and what we call as being stuck is again something which is very to each his own. But I mean, generally, if you feel you are getting stuck, one could be you feel you are stuck to a similar kind of work that you have been doing, or you are stuck to a certain industry, or you are stuck to a certain similar pay slip. It could be different for each of the individuals,
Hmm.
but all of this will fall in place when you start. One, you'll have to put yourself out in the market, and you'll have to not be comfortable with what you have been doing. So usually we call ourselves stuck is when we have spent a lot of time in a similar sort of kind of routine or a similar organization for very long. So moving out of the comfort zone is the first step you need to look out for. And something that I personally keep myself also keeping a test on, if I'm becoming too comfortable with the kind of work I'm doing, that's the first indication that I am moving towards that sort of a direction where there is a stagnation coming in my overall learning journey. So keep exploring, keep taking up new projects in your organization, keep trying out new things, uh, and that will help you learn, grow your skills. Try to explore different verticals. If you are also trying to stick to the same organization, try to take up different roles within them, right? Or if you are very keen to keep it to one particular kind of role itself, you'll have to still ensure that you are exploring newer projects, newer things too, that will help you grow up the ladder. So that's something you have to give out. You have to take certain small risks to ensure that in the long term you have a brighter future, and something which is more fulfilling for all. Yeah.
Definitely, it makes a lot of sense. And basically, I want to thank you for taking time out for this valuable conversation. I am sure that the audience listening to this would find immense value and gratitude towards you, as in whatever you've shared. And yeah, I think it's been one of the wonderful conversations we've had so far, and we are looking forward to a few more in the distant future, once we have some more things going on. But
Sure,
thank you
Anand.
so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation with you. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.